Cheyenne has weathered the state's economic storm better than most. We have the opportunity to lead the state. I remember the boom and the bust of the 70s and 80s, and if we all had a nickel for every time we heard the phrase, we must diversify our economy, well, we'd be pretty well off. I believe if we want to change, if we want to diversify, then we need to quit begging our state leaders to do something. They've been talking about diversification for decades. It's not going to start with the state. History has proven so. I believe the only way it can happen is to start with our cities and our towns. At City Hall, we began the year off by implementing the recommendations of staff and employees and transforming the way city government operates through a substantial reorganization. We did this to create efficiencies, tear down silos, and build up communication, increase transparency, decrease spending, and we did so without laying people off. An amazing group of volunteers gathered to bring our community together to celebrate our 150th birthday. Thank you to our very generous community, from fireworks to birthday cake to concerts and time capsule. We did not spend taxpayer money having a really special celebration. We don't have the budget to replace our streets. We don't, and we won't have it. So, do we continue to piecemeal our roads and only take care of the worst of the worst? Or do we go another route and actually make real progress? With chip sealing, we extend the life of what we have. It's an excellent return on our dollars.
Taxpayers voted for a new municipal court building, a critical community connector in Christensen overpass, funding for an east side park, greenway expansion, and road improvements. We are investing in infrastructure and open spaces. That speaks volumes about who we are as a community. We continue to redevelop the west edge, moving forward with the Civic Center, Conway's Park, Reed Avenue Rail Corridor, and Pump House Park. It's been an exciting year for what was Parks and Recreation and is now Community Recreation and Events. Again, thanks to this community, we now have a beautiful all-ability playground in Cahill Park. We are updating the play equipment at Holiday Park and restoring Big Boy to its glory. We continue to work on greenway improvements and parks and the way in which we book events and activities. Thanks to David Sewell, who we stole away from the Griffin Theater in Laramie, we have booked an event here at the Civic Center nearly every week since he came to work for us during the summer. We are filling this hall with a wide variety of entertainment. I can personally tell you this place was packed the week before Christmas for a pajama party screening of Polar Express, and a Harry Potter viewing experience is slated for next month. These are family-friendly, extremely affordable events that complement our symphony and the off-Broadway acts. This is our community center, and we are treating it as such. And we certainly can't leave out the Grand Conservatory of Botanic Gardens to open this year. Yet another community investment that is a crown jewel. I challenge anyone who says Cheyenne doesn't have great amenities. Cheyenne has incredible entertainment, arts, outdoor recreational amenities, and I believe it's only going to get better. We are fighting the blight by saying no more to abandoned and dangerous buildings. We've identified the worst offenders and are taking measurable action, with demolition of 815 Capitol Avenue scheduled for the first quarter of this year. These properties didn't deteriorate overnight, and addressing blight will and should continue to be an important sense of who we are, community pride in every one of our neighborhoods. We will not stop. We will clean up Cheyenne. The first thing I mentioned when I announced my candidacy for office was the hitching post. This once grand meeting place has been a disaster for more than a decade. For the first time now, in more than a decade, we have progress. This disaster has been shut down. Now we're discussing how to tear it down, remove it, get rid of it, and make the area poised for renewal. 2018 will be the year for redevelopment. There is promising development of the Cole Shopping Center, potential at the Z's building, and yes, I believe the literal hole in the heart of our downtown, the Heinz building, will see progress. Part of the problem with development is our regulatory climate. We've made it so difficult for entrepreneurs, people who want to make real improvements. And as I've said, we need to get out of our own way. And we listened. We heard about this guy from Sheridan, Robert Briggs, who completely changed the regulatory climate in Sheridan. He turned it upside down, turned it pro-growth, pro-private investment, pro-how can we help you. So what did we do? We stole him. We hired him. Sheridan was not happy, but we needed that type of entrepreneurial spirit here in Cheyenne. And Robert is now creating a one-stop approach here in Cheyenne. We have a planning and development department that is progressive and taking action to make Cheyenne a place where developers and builders are met with, how can we help? We needed a bridge builder, figuratively, in engineering. We needed someone with that type of entrepreneurial spirit that Robert Briggs brings. So we listened. We heard about this woman, Amy Allen from Rock Springs, who's an engineer and has navigated that community through EPA and DEQ hoops, oversaw the Public Works Department, and as well as planning and development. This means that she knows how to work with all of the players. So what did we do? We stole her. We hired her. Rock Springs was not happy, but we needed that type of entrepreneurial spirit here in Cheyenne. Like every community, Cheyenne isn't without its share of challenges. Among them include recruiting and retaining our workforce, affordable housing, including that for our servicemen and women at F.E. Warren Air Force Base, downtown development, speeding. It's one of the greatest complaints I get. Community and business development. And last but not least, broadband connectivity. And herein lie the opportunities to collectively meet these head on. Thanks to the efforts spearheaded by Dale Steenbergen at the Chamber, Randy Bruin with Leeds, and Dr. Joe Schaefer at LCCC, we are embarking on creating a data-driven roadmap for planning the future of Cheyenne to determine both the economy and the workforce needed for our future. There will be more to come in the weeks and months ahead, and I'm committed to these efforts as well. A true partnership between F.E. Warren, the city, the county, the Board of Public Utilities has emerged in addressing the housing needs of our servicemen and women. Pair that with food, entertainment, and shopping experiences, and we will together have created an exciting new community for both our base and our civilian community. And credit to Dale Steenbergen for forging those relationships and putting this exciting new development within an attainable reach. Simply put, we're talking about developing the vacant land off of I-25 that we all commonly know as the Cheyenne Frontier Days Park and Ride area, over 70 acres of housing and commercial development. Think Centera. This will be the likes of development that Cheyenne has not seen. Perhaps it's the altitude, or we can blame the wind, that pushes so many of our motorists to treat our roadways like raceways. I've had enough. I know you have. And I implore the Wyoming State Legislature to vote against reducing the fine schedule for speeders. This is a very serious public safety matter, and we must not go soft, but rather just the opposite. I do not accept that there's nothing more that we can do to stop speeding in our community. I won't accept it. I charged our police department to make this a priority, and they've answered the call, as you saw. If it involves cranking the fines, so be it. Maybe people won't risk it. We can't go soft. I'm excited to announce 2 more initiatives in 2018, in addition to the ongoing efforts to fight the blight, improving roads, and infrastructure. The first is a formalized business ombudsman program in planning and development. This is not an additional full-time position, but rather taking existing jobs and resources to dedicate a single point of contact, one city staff member, to a potential new or existing business to walk them through from start to finish. If other communities can do it, you bet we can too. The second, I will be naming a broadband task force in the coming days, and I've asked Eric Trowbridge, headmaster and executive director of the Array School of Technology and Design, better known as ET to us, to chair this task force, and he accepted the challenge. If we are going to truly be competitive, we must treat access to high speed, and I'm talking 1 gig up and down, as accessible as turning on the tap and having water, flipping a switch and having light, and it must be affordable. Cheyenne is failing on both accounts, accessibility and affordability. We will have progress. And I'm telling Eric Trowbridge to lead the hell out of this task force, Eric. Do what you do. Again, this means government's getting out of the way with our archaic fee schedules, instead creating policy that encourages, if not demands, a one dig or one trench approach. Fort Collins voters just recently passed a municipally run broadband initiative. I want all options on the table. This is going to be a fast-paced and high-energy community with the first set of recommendations due in 60 days to mirror and work closely with the governor's endow and the Wyoming Business Council to address this very critical infrastructure. Some may say we have challenges ahead, and to that I say, the opportunities are boundless. Thank you to everyone here today and to our community for making 2017 a year to remember. 2018, look out, here we come.